Moise, we know you're passionate about unlocking the potential of people and sharing access to affordable, sustainable energy. What did the next award-winning team bring to the table?
Thank you, Don. I'm pleased to announce our fourth distinguished design winner. So the next award-winning design presents a very creative solution to e-waste, a major topic in the region where the winning project is to be implemented, featuring a bold and innovative battery reuse model. So the fourth distinguished design award and a price of $5,200 goes to Team Afterlife from Kenya. Congratulations.
Hello, this is Afterlife Innovations. We are presenting for Power the Community Challenge.
Mboni area, together with Makueni sub-county, are the two sub-counties in Makueni County that are the least developed in terms of infrastructure. And this infrastructure majorly also includes electricity. The main reason for this is because Mboni sub-county is located very, very far from the main highway, and also due to its rugged terrain where it is situated in a very, very hilly place. Despite its lush and green environment, which also frequently receives more rain than every other part of Makueni, the community living there are still left in the dark, and most of them are not electrified, and you find that they have to resort to unwarranted renewable sources of energy. And this includes kerosene, this includes candles and all, and we all know about their high levels of emission. Fun fact, Mboni is also where my rural area is, so I get the chance to get this experience from my neighbors and how we were before we got electrified and at our home.
Some of the challenges that come with using batteries as a primary source of energy in most African rural homesteads include improper disposal of batteries, cheaper alternatives which are more destructive, increased carbon emissions, and cost constraints. Improper disposal of these batteries contaminates soils and water by releasing chemicals such as lead, which affect human health, especially in children. The price of batteries also influences waste generation, such that frequent replacement becomes expensive and waste is generated at an equivalent rate. In rural areas, they prefer to purchase the cheaper batteries, which typically have a shorter lifetime, and as a result, they replace them more frequently. Looking at the carbon footprint of these batteries, it varies with the life cycle and the type of a battery. Take, for example, lithium-ion batteries. They have a longer life cycle but have a larger carbon footprint, and this is contrary to lead-acid batteries that have a shorter life cycle but emit less carbon. Rural African homesteads remit varying rates of electricity based on income and availability. The high cost of electricity therefore remains a challenge, where off-grid alternatives dominates due to the inaccessibility of grid.
Imagine a world where dead batteries don't pile up in landfills. They power homes. Afterlife Innovations, we make this possible. Our solution turns second life batteries into reliable, affordable electricity for communities left in the dark. Right now, families without grid access rely on candles, kerosene, and predatory solar loans. Meanwhile, millions of used TV batteries are discarded, despite having over 70% of their capacity left. That's waste and need, side by side. So here was our solution, and here's how we bridge the gap. A central solar hub at the heart of the community. We'll install a solar charging power station, or a charging power station powered by solar power, and then we'll have a battery swap system. Members will check out charged batteries like library books, no upfront cost, no waiting. Plug and play kits. Each pack powers LED lights at home and phone charging, but this is just phase 1, with plans to expand to fans and AC powered systems. All is available. We own the batteries. Users access electricity on demand 24/7. Why does this work? It costs 50% cheaper than newer battery systems. It's sustainable and scalable. Isn't just energy access, it's energy justice. By marrying recycling with resilience, we light homes without burning the planet. Join us in powering the future, one battery at a time. In presenting a case for a solution, we have 4 major benchmarks. First of all, it's the innovation. We will deploy AI-driven state-of-charge monitoring to grade batteries with surgical precision, IoT-based tracking that enables real-time health checks, creating a self-improving system that's data-driven. Sustainability. We'll cut wastes and carbon chains. E-waste elimination, since each repurposed battery prevents 5 kilograms of toxic landfill leakage. Closed-loop pledge, non-usable batteries will be crushed, sorted, and with R&D pushing towards 100% material recovery. We don't just reduce harm, we reverse it one battery at a time. Affordability, no loans and trade-offs. 50% savings on storage when comparing with new batteries with no predatory financing. Plug-and-play kits, compatible with local devices. And finally, circular economy. Every battery is either repurposed or ground into recyclable materials. An active R&D to reclaim even more materials such as lithium and cobalt for that kind of battery technology. The afterlife of a battery isn't a grave, it's a renewable resource.
The primary purpose of our system is to provide lighting for the members of the community. Hence, for a single housing unit, we have assumed that each person will be using 3 bulbs, and each of these bulbs will be 5 watts. Then, assuming that every single person will have their all 3 bulbs on for a total of 5 hours throughout the night, we are able to calculate that the upper amount of power that will be required is the multiplication of the number of bulbs, which is 3, multiplied by the power of each bulb, 5 watts, multiplied by the total time that all of them will be on, which is 5 hours, we obtain 75 watt hours of power. This is the upper bound of power in order to provide a buffer for, say, if we're talking about a teacher can use that time to be marking papers, and if we're talking about a nurse, the nurse could be using that time to be going through documents. Hence, the high power that will be required, the highest level of power that will be required will be 75 watt hours per house.
Through how this system works. It starts with 51 solar panels soaking up sunlight, generating 177 kilowatt hours of energy every day. Picture the sun's rays turning into a stream of clean power. That energy flows to a charging station. After accounting for some losses, about 15%, we get 150 kilowatt hours of usable power ready to be stored. Next, this power charges to 50 battery packs. Each pack stores 600 watt hours, enough to keep the lights on. Think of them as energy tanks, fully loaded for the night. Each battery pack supplies 8 households, delivering 75 watt hours to each one. That's just right amount for every home. Inside each house, the energy powers 3 5-watt LED bulbs, glowing brightly for 5 hours every night, lighting up rooms with 75 watt hours of brilliance. From the sun to bulbs, the system delivers sustainable lighting to an entire community, efficiently, reliably, and every single day.
In conjunction with the engineering and/or architectural deliverables required of our project, we as Afterlife Innovations came up with a 3D model of a sub-county in Kenya known as Mbooni. As you can see from the 3D model, which is a scaled-down model from the actual engineering calculations done, among the noticeable components are the solar panel, the battery packs, and the number of houses. For the number of houses, it's been scaled down from 2,000 to 10 houses, 10 focus houses. For the battery packs, it's been scaled down from 250 to 5. And for the number of solar panels, it's been scaled down from 51 to 1. And this represents a 3D model of the Mbooni sub-county in Kenya as part of the Afterlife Innovation Submission Project. For the rundown of the community design of the 3D model that I previously explained, among the key components that matter most to us with regards to meeting the energy and power requirements of the community, we have the solar panel, battery packs, and the houses. Using the figures from the typical housing unit described, we have both on-grid and off-grid reliability, which means that during the day,
electricity and energy demands are met using the traditional use of transmission poles. And during the night, off-peak hours, energy and electricity demands are met using the battery packs or the battery pack swapping technology. Using the 3D model and reference to it, we have two houses which will use one battery pack, each consisting of 40 cells in total. One solar panel will be used in terms of the 3D model to power the battery packs and charge them during the day, which enable them to be sustainable during the night.
So for battery pack design, we had previously calculated that the power demand for each house is 75 watt hours. So we're assuming that we will share one battery pack for 8 houses. Hence, we're going to have the total power demand for each battery pack being 600 watt hours. To get the total capacity of each battery pack, we first get the voltage, which we assume will be 12 volts for each battery pack, divide 600 watt hours by 12 volts, and retain the capacity of each battery pack to be 50 amp hours. So to achieve the battery pack design, we're going to assume we're going to be using lithium ion phosphate cells. Each of these cells has a voltage of 3.2 volts. So to achieve the 12 volts, we will put 4 of these in series, and to achieve the 50 amp hours capacity, we need to take 10 groups of 4 series cells to achieve the total capacity. This gives us a total number of cells being 40. And to serve the entire community, we will divide the 2,000 houses in the community by 8, which is now the amount of houses sharing each battery pack, to get the total number of battery packs being 250. To size the solar panels, we take the total number of battery packs and multiply that by the power of each battery pack, which is 600 times 250, and we get that the total energy requirement is 150 kilowatt hours. We then divide this 150 kilowatt hours by a tolerance factor of 85%, which is obtained from assuming a charge efficiency of 90% and subtracting a tolerance of 5%, which accounts for any environmental factors during charging. This gives us a total energy requirement of 177 kilowatt hours. After this, we assume that each panel will be providing 700 watts for each hour, which is currently one of the highest powers provided by solar panels. By making this assumption, we can calculate that the total energy, assuming that the sun will be up for 5 hours, we can assume that the total energy given by these panels will be about 3.5 kilowatt hours. From this, we divide the 177 by 3.5 and obtain that we will need about 51 panels to serve the entire community. These 51 panels, to purchase them, we'll need to spend 16,000 Kenya shillings per panel, which gives us a total cost for the whole plant to be 816,000 Kenya shillings.
And that concludes our Pade community project. Asanteni sana.